Every single morning, you pour yourself a tall glass of what you believe is liquid health. Fresh, natural, packed with vitamin C. You have been doing it for 10 years, maybe 20, maybe longer. Your mother poured it for you when you were a child, and you never questioned it. Your doctor never told you to stop. And right now, that glass is delivering a concentrated dose of the one sugar that research shows cancer cells use to build their DNA and divide. I had a patient named Pearl Montgomery, 74 years old, retired elementary school music teacher from Charlotte, North Carolina. Pearl taught choir for 31 years and could still hum every melody she ever conducted. She came to me because of two things that were getting worse every month. Her fasting glucose was creeping upward. Her doctor called it pre-diabetic and told her to cut back on desserts. And she had developed persistent joint stiffness in her hands that made it difficult to play the piano she had played since she was 7 years old. Pearl told me she did not eat desserts. She did not add sugar to her coffee. She did not drink soda. She ate oatmeal and grilled chicken and vegetables. She exercised 3 mornings a week at the senior center. And every single morning, without exception, she squeezed 3 fresh oranges into a glass using a ceramic citrus juicer that her late husband Raymond had given her 14 years ago. She told me, Dr. Hale, that is the healthiest part of my day. I am Dr. Margaret Hale, 28 years in integrative medicine and clinical nutrition. And today, I am going to tell you why that glass of orange juice is not what you think it is, what it is actually delivering to your cells, and what research from UCLA and one of the largest nutrition studies ever conducted in Europe reveals about the relationship between fruit juice and cancer. When you eat a whole orange, you are consuming roughly 12 grams of natural sugar, but that sugar is locked inside a matrix of fiber, pectin, cellulose, cell walls that your digestive system has to break down slowly over time. The fiber acts like a time-release mechanism. It slows the absorption of fructose into your bloodstream so your liver can process it gradually without being overwhelmed. Now, when you squeeze that same orange into juice, you strip away every single bit of that fiber. What remains is the sugar, concentrated, unprotected, absorbed rapidly. A single glass of orange juice contains the sugar of 3 to 4 whole oranges, but none of the fiber that controls how fast it enters your system. You would never sit down and eat 4 oranges in 2 minutes. But you drink the equivalent every morning without thinking twice. This is where it becomes dangerous. Researchers at UCLA's Johnson Comprehensive Cancer Center published a landmark study in the journal Cancer Research. The team led by Dr. Anthony Heaney studied pancreatic cancer cells and made a discovery that changed our understanding of how cancer uses sugar. They found that cancer cells could easily distinguish between glucose and fructose. The two sugars were metabolized in completely different ways. When exposed to fructose, the pancreatic cancer cells activated a specific metabolic pathway called the transketolase-driven non-oxidative pentose phosphate pathway. In simple terms, fructose was being used by the cancer cells to build nucleic acids, RNA and DNA, the raw materials they need to copy themselves and divide. This was the first time anyone had demonstrated that fructose specifically and directly fuels cancer cell proliferation, not glucose. Fructose, the exact sugar concentrated in every glass of fruit juice. And while the study focused on pancreatic cancer, the researchers noted that this mechanism is unlikely to be limited to one cancer type. Fructose transporters have been found to be upregulated in multiple malignant tumors, including breast, colon, and liver cancers. The pathway is the same, the fuel is the same, and the source sitting on breakfast tables across the country is the same. Think of it this way. Imagine you have a garden. In that garden, you have flowers and weeds growing side by side. Glucose is like water. It feeds everything, the flowers and the weeds equally. But fructose is like a specialized fertilizer that only the weeds can absorb. You are pouring it on your garden every single morning, thinking you are helping the flowers grow. And the entire time, the weeds are the only ones using it. That is what fructose does to cancer cells. It gives them building materials that healthy cells do not use in the same way. If someone you care about pours themselves a glass of juice every morning, believing it is one of the healthiest things they do, please send them this information right now. They deserve to know what that glass actually delivers to their cells before another year passes. Now here is what makes this even more alarming. The British Medical Journal published the results of the NutriNet-Sante prospective cohort study. This was not a small trial. This involved 101,257 participants, tracked over a median follow-up of 5 years. The researchers measured daily consumption of sugary beverages, including 100% fruit juice, and tracked cancer diagnoses across the entire cohort. The results were striking. For every 100 milliliters per day increase in sugary beverage consumption, the risk of overall cancer increased by 18%. Breast cancer risk increased by 22%. And here is the finding that should concern every person who drinks juice every morning. When the researchers separated 100% pure fruit juice from other sugary drinks, the association with cancer risk remained. Pure fruit juice. Not soda, not artificially sweetened beverages. 100% fruit juice was independently associated with increased overall cancer risk, the kind you squeeze fresh every morning thinking it is medicine. For those of you who want my complete protocol for protecting every system in your body from hidden dietary threats exactly like this, I created the Cellular Reset. It contains the exact foods, the exact timing, and the combinations that give your cells what they actually need instead of what damages them. The link is in the pinned comment below this video. Now let me explain why fructose does more than just feed cancer cells, because the damage goes much deeper. When large amounts of fructose hit your liver rapidly, which is exactly what happens every time you drink juice, your liver converts a significant portion of it through a process that depletes a molecule called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is your cellular energy currency. When ATP is depleted rapidly, the breakdown products enter a pathway called purine degradation, and the end result of that degradation is uric acid. Elevated uric acid does two things simultaneously. It drives systemic inflammation by activating inflammatory pathways throughout your entire body. And it promotes insulin resistance, which further elevates blood sugar and creates a metabolic environment that actively favors cancer growth. Pearl's fasting glucose was not creeping up because she was eating desserts. It was creeping up because every morning she was flooding her liver with concentrated fructose that was driving insulin resistance from the inside out. And there is one more connection that ties this directly to what I showed you in my last video. High fructose intake has been shown in research to damage the intestinal barrier, the same barrier we discussed. One cell thick, held together by tight junctions. Fructose promotes increased intestinal permeability. When that barrier is compromised, bacterial toxins called LPS cross into your bloodstream and activate toll-like receptor 4 on your immune cells. The result is chronic inflammation throughout your body, your joints, your brain, your organs. Pearl's hand stiffness was not just aging. It was part of the same inflammatory cascade being driven by her daily glass of juice. Here is something I tell my patients that helps them understand the scale of the problem. 1 glass of orange juice, 250 milliliters, contains roughly 26 grams of sugar, almost all of it fructose. That is more sugar than a serving of many popular candies. But because it comes from fruit, because the glass says 100% natural people drink it every morning as if it were a health supplement, nobody would give their 70-year-old parent a bag of candy every morning and call it medicine. But that is functionally what a daily glass of juice delivers to the liver. The packaging is different. The biochemistry is the same. Think of concentrated fructose like pouring gasoline on smouldering embers. Your body may already have low-level inflammation from aging, from oxidative stress, from years of accumulated wear. Those embers are there. They are quiet. But every morning, when you drink that glass of juice, you add fuel directly to the fire. The embers do not go out. They grow. Day after day. Glass after glass. Year after year. If you are finding this kind of research valuable, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. I release new evidence-based content every other day. And next time, I am going to show you the mineral that controls your heartbeat, your sleep, and your blood pressure that 80% of adults over 60 are dangerously low in without knowing it. Now let me give you the exact changes I recommend. Step 1. Stop drinking fruit juice entirely. This is non-negotiable. It does not matter if it is fresh squeezed from organic oranges harvested this morning or poured from a carton. The sugar concentration is the same. The fructose load is the same. The fiber is gone either way. Replace the juice with the whole fruit. One whole orange contains roughly 12 grams of sugar, wrapped in 3 grams of protective fiber. A glass of juice contains 26 grams of sugar with 0 fiber. Eat the fruit. Do not drink it. Step 2. If you want citrus flavor in the morning, squeeze half a lemon or half a lime into a glass of water. Lemons and limes contain a fraction of the fructose found in oranges, and the small amount of citric acid can actually support your digestion. This gives you the bright citrus taste you enjoy without the sugar load. Step 3. Rebuild your breakfast around protein and healthy fat. Your first meal of the day sets your metabolic tone for the next several hours. A breakfast built around juice and toast delivers a massive glucose spike, followed by a crash that leaves you hungry, inflamed, and hormonally disrupted by mid-morning. Instead, start with eggs cooked in extra virgin olive oil, or plain Greek yogurt with a small handful of walnuts. Or if you prefer something warm, try steel-cut oatmeal topped with ground flaxseed and a small portion of blueberries. Protein and fat slow gastric emptying and blunt the glucose response. They keep your insulin low and steady instead of spiking it every morning. Step 4. Choose low glycemic fruits. If you want fruit with breakfast, choose berries. Blueberries, strawberries, and blackberries have significantly less sugar than tropical fruits and citrus. They also contain anthocyanins. These are powerful polyphenol compounds that research has shown possess anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer properties. Eat them with your meal, never alone on an empty stomach. Step 5. Give your liver 30 days. Your liver adapts to the fructose load you give it day after day. When you stop flooding it with concentrated juice, it begins to recover. Uric acid levels drop. Insulin sensitivity improves. Inflammation markers decrease. But it takes time. Commit to 30 days with 0 fruit juice and let your body show you the difference. Now let me tell you the 3 mistakes that keep people trapped in this cycle, even when they think they have made changes. Mistake number 1. Switching to no sugar added or 100% juice and believing it is safe. This is the most common mistake I see. People read the label. They see no sugar added and think the problem is solved. But 100% fruit juice is already pure concentrated fructose. There is no sugar that needs to be added. The problem was never added sugar. The problem is the sugar that is naturally there, stripped completely of its protective fiber. No sugar added means nothing when the product itself is liquid sugar. Mistake number 2. Believing fresh squeezed is different from store-bought. I hear this constantly in my practice. My juice is fresh squeezed, Dr. Hale. I squeeze it myself from organic oranges every morning. But the fructose molecule does not know who squeezed it. It does not know if the orange was organic or conventional. The sugar concentration in fresh squeezed juice is biochemically identical to the juice in a carton. The fiber is removed the moment you extract the liquid from the pulp. Fresh squeezed sounds healthier. To your liver and to your cancer cells, it is exactly the same. Mistake number 3. Hiding juice inside smoothies. People stop drinking juice by the glass and start using it as a smoothie base, thinking the other ingredients cancel out the sugar. They add spinach, they add protein powder. They feel healthy. But the foundation of that smoothie is still 8 ounces of orange juice or apple juice delivering the exact same fructose load to your liver. Use water or unsweetened almond milk as your smoothie base instead. Never juice. One more thing from my clinical practice that I want you to understand. Many of my patients tell me they drink juice because they were told they need more vitamin C. But one whole medium orange gives you all the vitamin C you need for the day. You do not need 3 or 4 oranges worth of vitamin C, and you certainly do not need the 26 grams of fructose that comes with it. If you are concerned about vitamin C, eat 1 orange, eat some bell peppers, eat strawberries. You will get more than enough without flooding your liver with concentrated sugar every morning. The vitamin C argument is how the juice industry has kept people drinking for decades. It is not wrong about the vitamin. It is wrong about the delivery method. Tell me in the comments, how long have you been drinking orange juice every morning? And has anyone ever warned you about this? I read every single comment, and I want to hear your story. Let me tell you what happened with Pearl. When I explained the fructose research to her, she went quiet for a long time. Then she looked at me and said, "Dr. Hale Raymond bought me that juicer. I use it every morning because it makes me feel close to him." I told her I understood completely, and that honoring Raymond's memory did not require damaging her health. We could keep the ritual and change what it delivered to her body. She kept the juicer on her counter. She kept the routine of standing in her kitchen at 6:15 every morning. But instead of squeezing 3 oranges, she started slicing 1 whole orange into segments and eating it slowly alongside 2 scrambled eggs and a cup of green tea. Same kitchen, same time. Same feeling of Raymond beside her. Different outcome for her cells. At 4 weeks, her fasting glucose had dropped by 11 points. At 8 weeks, her hand stiffness had decreased enough that she could play a full hymn on the piano without her fingers locking up. She told me it was the first time in over a year. At 10 weeks, she called me on a Sunday afternoon. She said, "Dr. Hale, I played the entire offertory hymn at church this morning, both verses. No stopping. My hands did what I asked them to do." She was crying, not from pain, from relief. At 12 weeks, her doctor ran updated blood work and called her himself. Her fasting glucose was back within normal range. Her uric acid had dropped significantly. Her inflammatory markers had improved across the board. He asked her what she changed. She told him I stopped drinking my juice. He paused and said, "That is all you changed." She said, "That is all." That is what concentrated fructose does when it accumulates day after day, year after year, for decades. It does not announce itself. It does not cause a dramatic event. It quietly feeds every inflammatory process and every metabolic dysfunction in your body 1 glass at a time. And the entire time you believe you are doing something good for yourself. If this information changed how you think about your morning routine, please share this with someone who needs it. The person who pours that glass every morning believing it is vitamins. The parent whose doctor never told them to stop. The friend whose glucose keeps creeping up and nobody can figure out why. And if you want the complete protocol for resetting your metabolism, protecting your cells, and rebuilding every system that years of hidden sugar exposure have quietly damaged, it is all inside the Cellular Reset. Link in the pinned comment. Next time, I am going to show you the mineral that 80% of adults over 60 are critically low in. It controls your heartbeat. It controls your sleep. It controls your blood pressure. Most doctors test for it using the wrong method, and most supplements deliver a form your body cannot absorb. You do not want to miss that one. Tomorrow morning, when you walk into your kitchen, you will see the oranges. You will see the juicer. And for the first time, you will know exactly what that glass contains. Not vitamins, not health. Concentrated fructose that feeds inflammation and fuels the one thing you fear most. The question is not whether the research is real. It is. The question is what you choose to do with it, starting tomorrow morning. Dr. Margaret Hale.